Of River Plate goes up to have a word with referee Ricardo Calabria. And of course, as much as it's a player's ambition to play in a derby game like this one, it's also an official's ambition to be given charge of a match like this. The rain teeming down in the River Plate Stadium as the first free kick is awarded to the home side. It was Da Silva who tried to get up there, and the ball looped beyond him. And now it's knocked back towards the edge of that Boca Juniors penalty area, and a little touch off the knee of Zamora. Zamora starting in the River Plate lineup. He's been substitute on many occasions. There's a close-up of Hector Enrique for you, widely tipped to be a member of the 22-strong squad that will go to Italy. And indeed, I think we're probably looking at least half a dozen players out here who will be on the plane. Argentina, of course, as the reigning world champions, will kick off in those World Cup finals in Milan on June the 8th in the very first match against the Cameroons. There's a good turn by Zamora. And a good ball too, played with the outside of the boot. And the cross is a little disappointing there from Corti over the top of the crossbar. Corti Rodriguez. So many of these players have two names that they go under, so don't be fooled by the captions. And once more, Zamora couldn't quite control it that time. Played out here to La Torre, who shows good control. And these players do just love to clip the ball with the outside of the boot. Well done by Da Silva. So a highly animated referee. And I suppose they get caught up in the fever of the occasion as much as the players do. Imperative not to make an early mistake in a derby game like this one. Boca being just on the outskirts of Buenos Aires, which is the home, of course, of River Plate. Well, this match very much in the River Plate Stadium, which is also the national stadium, and the scene of that memorable 1978 World Cup final. Batista lunges forward and is taken out of the play by Marangoni. And Batista seems to have been such a fearsome and formidable figure in Argentine football over the years. One of those who's preferred to stay at home rather than earn his money in Europe. So many of Argentina's top players applying their trade in Europe at the moment, of course. Oh, and there was a good little flick on, and Zamora trying to get onto the end of it. Just couldn't get there ahead of Navarro Montoya. There's a little bit of an aimless ball forward. And he'll get the bird for that sort of a pass back. And he'll get the bird for putting the ball out of play. The River Plate crowd are likely to whistle and hoot any indiscretions by any Boca Juniors players on this occasion. That's surely a free kick. But for all the fact they're lying second in the table, River Plate haven't really put together the sort of form which threatens to tear everybody else away this season. They've been right up there all season, but somehow their performances have lacked a little bit of inspiration. This will be another free kick. So they're certainly getting the upper hand in those awards. Sometimes it does take an eternity for free kicks to be taken. However, this one will be delivered eventually by Serizuela. And they've had to make a change of River Plate in the back four because Hugo de Leon is away playing for his country, Uruguay, in the Marlboro Cup in Miami, Florida. But such are the resources. That's going to be a corner. Such are the resources that River Plate have. So many players they can bring in. They can almost always replace one international with another. And they have the encouragement of a corner kick here, which is delivered and safely held by Navarro Montoya. One of the more colourful goalkeepers in South America at the moment. Well, they do seem to specialise in them. He's taken over, of course, from Hugo Gatti, El Loco, as he was known in the Boca Juniors goal for so many, many years. This is Cachufo. Great ball, hit out to that far side. Tremendous pass. And not a bad-looking cross either, and the goalkeeper wasn't sure. And he's going to have to catch it under some duress. It came off the head of Carlos Enrique. There's the cross, and it was a very quick move. Started by Cachufo, carried on that touchline. And the ball looping in the air, and an easy one in the end for Comitso to handle. For the first sign of pressure from Boca. Well, you can see the conditions here are quite deplorable at the moment. Hardly conducive for good football, although players will tell you they prefer to play in heavy rain than heavy winds. At least they can judge the bounce and flight of the ball. And this will be the first free kick that Boca Juniors have been awarded. The man who'll take it will be Ponce, the number 10. Very creative player. What can he conjure up from this? Well, the run inside the area was made by Giunta, backed by Stafuzza, Marangoni. Well, they're keeping it going. Nice little touch from Ponce, and he'll be onside if he can reach it. The ball held up, actually, so the rain is having an effect. Difficult to keep the ball down, of course, on the turn like that. But La Torre didn't do at all badly. And see how the ball holds up here. It might well have gone dead on another occasion, but with this rain pounding down, it held up, came back here, and La Torre, a difficult one to hit on the turn. He got the power behind it, but he just couldn't get the elevation right. Well, back passing might become rather ill-advised later in the match if the rains persist. So Stafuzza, they keep pinging the ball out to that left side, and Ponce keeps the move going. So does Giunta. Now they're arrested in midfield. And Da Silva challenging back, but there were too many of them. He got in the way of his own man, Corti. And that seems to be the heaviest part of the pitch over there as Rodriguez comes sliding in. So one or two uncomfortable moments for the River Plate defence. Very unseasonal rain this in the middle of the Buenos Aires summer. Marangoni decides that defence is the best form of attack for the moment. Simon. And that wasn't a good touch. And Da Silva almost profited. And indeed, here come River Plate, snapping on the end of that loose ball. The cross, he must be offside, must Zamora. The flag went up on the far side. Oh. Well, that's not conducive to get on with the referee kicking the ball away like that. And that shot really does give you an idea of just how hard the rains are beating down here in the River Plate Stadium. It's a good job as cover over on that far side for the spectators. If not for them, they don't seem too bothered, do they? And again, you're always going to get players slipping, as Stafuzza did there. Taken on by Borelli. And he's slithering and sliding as well. It's a bit of a scramble down there at the moment. Just needs somebody, though, to break the deadlock, and almost done there. Da Silva had the chance. That was calm as you like. And that was how they were almost caught in some disarray, Boca. Batista will battle for it, but the whistle sounded. Free kick to Boca Juniors, and the players are already absolutely drenched. But let's have another look here. The break made down the right, and Da Silva literally a toe poke away from putting River Plate into the lead. And then the defender was very, very calm indeed, wasn't he? Graziani out on this side now, Latorre. Poor cross though, straight to a man in a white shirt. Ponce going for the return. Will be happy enough to get the throw in. So no goals as yet. Quite a lively start though, with Da Silva coming very close at the one end for River Plate, and Boca having created a chance at the other end too. And into space, he's onside. They were looking for the flag there, and it wasn't forthcoming, and a really spectacular attempt. Well, that was a marvellous bicycle kick. The ball didn't quite find the net, as was intended, but let's have a look now. There is Latorre's cross, and a truly spectacular effort, but just wide of the mark. It deserved better. The athleticism certainly had to be admired. And the River Plate players are still complaining to the referee that he and the linesman should have saved them the embarrassment of that moment. They wanted an offside flag, it didn't come. Marangoni. And Giunter it was in the end. Stafuzza. He again got it well. The left back, who keeps coming forward for Boca Juniors, is Cuchufo. It really is a thankless task for a referee on a day like this. There's a good run made by Graziani. While they're making progress, almost rugby union style, down that touchline. It was Giunter, in fact, who had that bicycle kick a few moments ago, and that really should serve as quite a warning to River Plate that they're happy to have a crack at goal from anywhere. And the cross could have bounced awkwardly, but Comitso had seen it. But still no goals here. Plenty of rain, no goals. River Plate, of course, have the most impregnable defence in the league. Well, they'd only conceded 9 goals in their first 20 matches, quite remarkably. They'd only scored 20, in fact, but they were sufficient to take them up into second position. Nothing too much happening out there, so I can continue to tell you about that. And Boca Juniors down in 7th position who have a match in hand, by the way. They've conceded exactly a goal a game, 19 in 19 matches, and scored 24, so that's more than River Plate. And they concede a few more. This is Batista looking for it, but it was Da Silva who hooked it in the air. Pushed aside by Serizuela. Now they do come forward in droves. That's a good ball played inside Cachufo, and quickly flicked across there, turned aside and out of play by Marangoni, charging back as he had to do. But just look at the conditions already now. With less than 20 minutes of the game gone. Well, I don't think we're ever going to reach the stage where it could be abandoned, but it's certainly going to be a bit of a soggy mess, is the River Plate Stadium by the end of the evening. And the ball continues to hold up more and more. The sort of night when you don't want your shoelaces, your bootlaces to come undone, really. And you can hear the rain pitter-pattering onto the microphones. The crowd certainly in good voice and enjoying it so far, though there are no goals, but ball running out of players. Borelli took up the chase. So many of these players, of course, will be looking to impress Carlos Bilardo, the Argentine national manager, with a view to Italy. Here's one of them, and here's a good chance. Junta has to turn inside, and eventually cracked it against the leg of the defender. But Junta was played into a great position by Graziani there. Could have had the first time shot. He deliberated, turned the ball back inside, and then when he did get his shot in, cracked against the shin of the River Plate man. The chance had gone. And Junta, who we saw have that really athletic overhead kick a few minutes ago, has had perhaps the two best chances of the night. That's well won for Boca Juniors, but fortune favoured River Plate on that occasion. The ball went straight back into their hands, their feet, as you like, and here's Zamora. He's got one man in the middle, and he might just find him, and there's the little flick header. It was a nice cross from Zamora, actually. Da Silva was coming in on it. The little flick header couldn't find the net. And on a night like this, one relies on the action being good, and there's Da Silva flying in for the header. And even the second touch might have been good enough to carry the ball in. They still battle for it, but won by Stafuzza for Boca. That looked like a foul on Serizuela by Rodriguez. Well, the River Plate crowd desperate to see their team score a few goals against anybody, and Boca Juniors would be the perfect opposition for that to happen. In their minds, they do have a free kick. Referee Ricardo Calabria, right on the job with that one. And the free kick taken, well, Carlos Enrique is there. Sergio Batista says, "You go away, I'll do it," and then gives him the ball short. Takes it back forward, and they do find their man just around the edge of that penalty area quite nicely, but in the end Stafuzza and Cachufo are able to bring Boca Juniors clear, and now well inside the River Plate half, and they have to find another way through. The alternative route. Rodriguez seeks it. Batista losing out in the challenge with Marangoni, but it's going to be a free kick in any event against the big central defender. He plays quite an interesting role, Batista, switching between central defence and midfield. They're happy for him to lope upfield on those strong surging runs and then cover for him. Marangoni, who spent one season in England playing for Sunderland, pumps that ball high, and it was an easy one to clear. Zamora is under pressure. And that was quite a spectacular tumble he took, and it was good enough to impress referee Calabria. River Plate's free kick, and still it's River Plate 0, Boca Juniors 0, and the onus is very much on the home side to come and attack and go looking for the goals. Well, they've had two of the most disconcerting moments of the game so far, with Giunta firing just wide and then hitting another shot against the defender. To balance that, River Plate have had a flicked header from Da Silva just off the mark. So far, one or two of the players that you'd expect to show haven't really been in evidence. People like Corti for River Plate, Marchesini of Boca Juniors, not seen much of him. It's a good contest nonetheless. Flag up on the far side. And there you have an aerial shot of the scene here in the River Plate Stadium, which tells you that it's raining mighty heavily. Ponce. And of necessity the build-up is slow. Rather deliberate. Marangoni at the hub of things for Boca. And they wait for support down that left touchline. And eventually the ball is played out to Cachufo. Little flick forward from Ponce, and that might be a very good ball in these conditions. Solid work at the back by Higuain. Couldn't find Zamora down that touchline though, and passing is becoming more and more problematical as the evening goes on. As you saw there, and Stafuzza didn't continue his run, so Graziani couldn't find him. So it remains scoreless. The one good thing to be said really is that there has been no open hostility between the sides. On occasions like this that can happen. Local rivalry almost demands it. And I suppose the first goal could be of paramount importance in this game. It would psychologically give such a lift to the team scoring it. Boca Juniors are in the possession at the moment with Simon. Now with Stafuzza, and now with Rodriguez, who's not seen much of the ball down this right touchline. Wears 11 but plays on the right. Graziani, who wears 7, plays down the left. Except for this moment when he's switched wings. Well, that was a clearance that was perhaps not well advised. It's given Boca the ball back, really, inside the opposition half. Good little touch on, and a sliding challenge. And they all look to the referee, who says play on. But those are the sort of tackles in these conditions that can persuade a referee to award penalties. So here we see, well, it was a brave challenge indeed by Hector Enrique in these conditions. Still it's 0-0, and in very quickly there, Cachufo. That's a good little turn. And the referee allowed play to continue, which was excellent refereeing, otherwise it would have been a free kick. He played the advantage real well. and the ball just flicked off the top of Stafuzza's head. I nearly said the shot came raining in, but then everything's raining in on a night like this. It wasn't a bad cross at all. Stafuzza just getting his head to it, but here's a great chance, and it must surely be a goal. Critical tackle there, as Borelli looked a certain scorer. He only had to nick that ball into the open net, but Marchesini was across, and it seems that the referee and the linesman had made an earlier decision in any event. Maybe not. Well, goal kick given, so that's the closest we've come to a goal. And Marchesini served his side well. Now it's Boca's turn. Oh, and it was a little fortunate, was that ricochet. Goal kick. So plenty of incident in this derby game, if no goals. Been a very good spirit out there. I think perhaps the players under conditions like this haven't got time to be thinking of anything other than playing the game to the best of their ability. Marangoni now, who has got good ability, good skills, manages to get his pass in despite the fact he was stumbling all the way. Now the break is on for River Plate with Da Silva, who's strong in these situations. The defender slips. It's given Da Silva a real opportunity here. The defender comes across and makes the tackle and appeals at this end for a penalty now. We had them in the River Plate penalty area a few minutes ago. The answer was in the negative then, and they're in the negative now, and that is why an excellent tackle. And again, it's Marchesini, who has done tremendously well twice now and really saved Boca Juniors. So Marchesini is really pressing his claims for a World Cup place. Referee Calabria has a good hold over the tempers in this match so far. His word is with Da Silva there. I'm not quite sure why. Perhaps Da Silva said something in frustration when the penalty was not awarded to him. But I think we saw perfectly on the replay how well Marchesini did in taking the ball from his toe end. Laid back by Latorre. Batista choosing to lay that ball back via the additional boot of Higuain all the way to Commizzo, who's hardly seen the ball, and he won't be unhappy about that. That's a good pass, and Da Silva seeking to get on the end of it, and uncomfortable defending, if calm defending, by Stafuzza. Oh, and there's a good chance. The break is on here for Boca. One defender is out of it entirely. Oh, and he chose the wrong option, surely there. There was no way that Graziani could have beaten Commizzo from that distance and that angle. And he did have two men up alongside him. And I imagine they're not saying very polite things to Senor Graziani at this moment. Good to see that referee Calabria still has his sense of humour, sharing a joke with Cerezuela. Well, the bulk of the half has already been played. Still it's stalemate, and still Boca Juniors come looking.